everyone. This is my final take. I've literally done like 3 takes and it's just been annoying and I'm not doing it again. But hey everyone, welcome back and welcome to my channel welcome to my channel. I am Devotion and you are now listening to the Breakdown and Rebuild podcast, and today I'm going to be discussing friendship. I want to say I'm currently feeling like a little bit like slightly off. I think I've just been eating a lot of sugar and it's just been crazy, and like my body is just like not fucking with it. I haven't eaten as much as I did like yesterday. So if I feel like a little bit low or not as energetic, it's probably because of that. I'm definitely considering like changing like what I eat. Yeah, so also, how are you guys? What's going on? Like, let me know in the comments down below if anyone's watching. Like, I've literally, most of the views I've gotten is like from myself, you know. So if there's anyone watching or lurking, please comment. I want to see who it is. But yeah, like I was saying, today's episode is about friendship. I'm going to be discussing, you know, my own experiences, my lessons that I've learned, and yeah, I've learned a lot, you know, in friendship, and yeah, and you know what, also, going forward in regards to like my podcast, I'm going to be, you know, more straightforward and direct into like the topic, but I want it to feel like a conversation. I don't want my podcast to feel overly structured because that wouldn't be authentic. Sometimes I just like to yap and just give out extra info, right? Okay, sorry, I'm just regathering myself. Okay, I'm quite tired, and then after this I'm gonna work on my business, and it's like, what time is it? It's like 10:42 p.m. So it is really late. Okay, so friendship. I'm gonna give my own definition of friendship and my own thoughts on friendship. My thoughts and my definition first of friendship, I just feel like my definition of friendship is somebody who has stuck with you and has remained solid with you in a crisis moment, in the moments where your life is falling apart and they're there with you. You've seen and observed how they acted in the crisis moment, and there was no mask slip, there was no none of that. Like, they was with you and you were going through that shit, whatever it was, together. It never gave like, oh, like, that's your shit and I've got my own shit. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, now we've got each other. That's what a true friendship is to me. When they're with you in your darkest moments. I don't give a fuck about the bitches, like, I just want to go out, just want to hang out. I don't give a fuck about that. You will never be my friend. I want to see who you are in a crisis moment. I want to see who you are when life is just crumbling, you know? I want to see who you are in your own crisis moment, you know? When I'm feeling low, like, how do you approach me? How do you approach me? If there's anything else I can add to that, you know, definition, I feel like a true friendship to me is like where you can just be like straight up and honest. Like, there's no like, oh, like, I can't talk to you like about everything. Like, you know, it's just natural, it's open, like, you're straightforward with each other. There's no coddling each other, you just say what it is. It's just like two authentic, obviously friendship groups, or, you know, you also got to consider that, but I'm more of a one-on-one person. I don't like groups, especially with this whole conversation about group leader. Bitch, you can never lead me, you can never run me. Let's just clock that T, bitch. Let's clock that T. You're not gonna lead me, and I can't be told like what to do. So yeah, like, I just feel, oh, child, I feel like low-key, like, slightly off, but I'm just going with it. But yeah, like, that's just how, like, I feel in terms of like friendship. Like, it's just two authentic people, do you get what I'm saying, together, and it's just real, it's raw, it's natural, it's organic. So, sorry guys, when I say like I'm feeling like quite tired, like, and I feel like slightly, it's real. Like, I think I'm a bit tired. I think the pasta really is taking me out right now. Anywho, so now obviously I've given you my definition. I also, in terms of friendship and everything, I think friendship is a very integral part, to our lives, because life is about people. You know what I mean? Life is about people. And because life is about people, obviously it's going to take a huge chunk of our lives, whether we're isolated or whether we have no friends or not. Like, even though I wouldn't say like I have anybody, I know that, like, I still need people, whether it's my professors, whether it's this, whether it was those food banks that were open for me during the time where I needed food banks. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all need each other. So I say that to say, I feel like one of my biggest lessons in terms of friendships that I've had to learn and that I've had to take accountability from, I learned this lesson very late. It has been like a consistent pattern in my life, and I just never understood why. I always blamed other people in the role that I gave to them that they were not ready for, or more or less didn't even deserve. I'll tell you what it is. For me, my biggest problem, and why I just had consistently mediocre, lackluster friendships and draining friendships, was because I gave majority of myself to people that never earned it. And I learned this lesson in 2025. I was friends with, like, I'm not always gonna say friend, but technically, like, we were like cool as shit, do you get what I mean? But we wasn't cool as shit because it was her. Like, it was just, like, I don't know, she approached me and we just sat on like the same table and it was just cool, and I just gave way too much, like, you know what I mean, where I didn't have to. And when you give too much, it gets draining, because you've allowed someone who hasn't earned their stripes with you, you just allow them into your life. You don't know who that person is or how they are in friendship. It got really draining because there were expectations that I had that I chose to never vocalize, because I'm very quick when it comes to like peeping the swag, you know what I mean? I'm very quick when it comes to that. In regards to people's like, when it comes to just people's like actions and behaviors towards me. And I knew that this wasn't gonna last. And honestly, like, when I was friends with this individual, it was just kind of like, it was like within like the second month of being quote unquote friends with her, like, I was already done. I felt drained. I just felt like I was the only person giving. Like, the friendship, quote unquote friendship, was never like, it was never giving. It just never gave, you know what I mean? Like, it just was nothing. Do you get what I'm saying? I just gave myself to people that never deserved it. And that was my main thing. I thought that in order for me to make friends and genuine friends, I thought I had to be the one giving. I've always been a giver, and people just like really like get real loose with like the energy that I give. Not like in a sexual way, but just like in a way of like, they really fuck with my vibe and they get very, very, very comfortable very quickly. And they get very overconfident and they get very comfortable, and they think I'm just somebody that is going to be there forever. I am the opposite. If I see something that I don't fuck with, a red flag or something that I'm not fucking with, I'm getting rid of you. I don't believe in the whole, oh, let's communicate. If I communicate with you, you must be worth it. You must have been somebody that was there for me at my lowest and everything, that's different. That's a different type of thing. If you've been there with me in my lowest, like you was there, you were solid, like that's a whole different vibe. I'm talking about people where they haven't seen you any crisis moments, like they haven't like seen like the more emotional side of me. I don't believe in conversation with that. And obviously, like another thing that I don't like when it comes to like conversations, I don't like how society makes people like myself, where we do just cut off and let go and we don't say shit. They make us into like this feelings like, well, you should have communicated. Why did you ghost? It's like, first of all, I'm not obligated to like converse with you. I'm sorry, like, oh, like what happened to true friendship? And bitch, fuck all of that. Like, no, I feel like everyone has like their expectations of what makes someone a friend, and if someone doesn't want to be their friend, they don't have to communicate, especially if, you know, there's someone like me or, you know, similar people to me who are really good with pattern recognition and they can already see where something is going, and they don't want to like waste their time with that. Then it's just kind of like, why are we being shamed, you know? So as someone who has high pattern recognition, I can always see like how things are more likely to progress. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, like that pretty much was it. Like, and I've just been, you know, I always blamed other people when it was me, you know. It was me. I signed people into friendships too quickly. I already gave them a title and position, when what I really should have done is just take my time. I think if there's another thing that I learned about friendship is move like a turtle. Take your time. Because there are people, you gotta understand, people have their own agendas, and a lot of the times it's not because they genuinely care about you, love you, or want to be a friend. Sometimes they have their own strategy, they want to use you for something. You have like aspects of you that they like, and they want access to you so they can like take the swag. You get what I'm saying? Like, not everyone is genuine, not everyone is, you know, for your highest good. And what I've tend to find in my life is like, I in this lifetime I haven't found like any kindred spirits. I haven't met somebody like, the only time that I'd say I clicked with someone was my crush in like year 7, like when we was like 12 type shit. Like, we really got on, like we were very similar. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it was just so natural, and I've never experienced that afterwards. And I feel like with my experiences with friendship, I feel like I'm a little jaded. You know, I'm 25 now. I recently turned like 25, like almost 2 weeks ago now, okay? Cancer baby, you know what it is. But I turned 25, and it's just kind of like, I'm quite jaded, but like jaded is a form of like apathy. I wouldn't say I'm apathetic when it comes towards friendships. When I say jaded, then like my like, you know, thought process is just kind of like, I don't really care anymore. I don't really care to meet my soulmates. I don't even believe in soulmates, right? But I don't really care about finding these people or ever experiencing that. I do wonder in my head, like, what it must feel like. And like, my point of reference is always to, you know, when I was in year 7 and how natural it feels and how we click, you know. And I do want something natural, but at this point, it's just kind of like, I'm 25. 25, I don't have any friends, never been in a relationship, you know. It's just kind of like, so now it's like, my focus is basically on my money. You know what I'm saying? I'm focusing on my money. I'm focusing on getting my health right. I feel like I also have to make like a podcast on like, you know, me being fat. I want to get my health right. I just want to focus on me and leveling myself up and putting myself in position. And I feel like I have that same attitude when it comes to friendships. I don't, you know, if there's one thing that I've had to accept, you know, because I've had opportunities for friendships, and when I've taken them, I felt completely unfulfilled because I kept trying to like put myself in the box of what I wanted in friendship, you know. I thought okay, I want a friendship where we hang out, where we talk every day. And like, when I got that, I just felt completely unfulfilled. Like, those were like society standards of what, like, you know, people were complaining about. You know, people, you know, especially people who are lonely and, you know, haven't had connection for a while, they want that. And I respect that. I think we all should be allowed to, you know, have our desires and want them and get them. But I think as I've grown, especially in the familial environment that I've come from, I think my desires have quickly changed. And I feel like just now, like, those hang out, let's talk, let's go out, like, that was more of a younger me. And I've had to, like, I'd say like 2 years ago, I'd say 1 year ago, honestly, I've had to, like, admit to myself that this isn't what I want anymore. I don't want to be friends with people, just be friends with people. I don't want to hang out. I don't want to go out for coffee. I don't want to do any of that. And you can say that this is like cold and robotic, but now I really value utility. And I feel like in comparison to the whole hangout, let's do this, like, I don't give a fuck about that. And I feel like I've matured in that sense. I want people around me that have an abundance of utility in my life. Like, they serve a purpose. Like, I want to be around highly resourceful people. Like, if there's an issue, like, they know someone, or they themselves can solve it, if, like, to help me, not to save me, but you know what I mean. And I want to be of high utility to my friends too. I want to be, you know, that person that they can call on and rely on. I want to be the person that, if there's a contact that they want, or if there's a certain amount of access that they want, like, I can get them through the door. I can provide opportunities. They can learn from me. I can learn from them. It's very reciprocal in that way. I now value utility. You know, I see value in you. I see value in what you provide. And on that value, I feel like it's equal, because the foundational truth, you know, is friendships are transactional. We all want something. No one wants to be constantly giving to someone and not getting anything back, because that feels off. It feels icky. It feels disgusting. And I feel like we should honor that within ourselves, that, you know what, there are things that I want. I want somebody that's kind. I want somebody that's going to listen to me, not just constantly talk about themselves. You know, and I think that's something that we should honor and embrace. And yeah, like, and what I also found, you know, like, with a lot of people, because I haven't had like a friend in years, babe. Like, I haven't not had a friend in years. Like, and I've mostly just spent my time in, you know, isolation. I spent a lot of time in isolation. I'd say like I've spent like a decade in isolation, deep isolation. And I think for me, how my isolation has done for me is allowed me to become more self-aware and more decisive and honest about what I want, because all there is like myself in this isolation, you know what I mean? It's made me somebody that doesn't seek validation. It's made me into somebody more confident, because I deal with a lot of my problems, you know, I deal with it myself, and I triumph over them myself. And I'm not saying that we should deal with our own problems. I definitely do value community. I just haven't been able to find my community. Oh shit. Sorry. I just had to burp, sorry. But yeah, I value community. And I'm hoping to make a community from my podcast, from my YouTube channel, to engage with and speak to like-minded individuals. But yeah, like, I value community, but, you know, sometimes in life you're just gonna have to like go through it yourself. And I don't feel like we have to demonize that aspect of life. But yeah, it's made me into a person that honors their desires, and it's made me into a person where I no longer care to conform to, you know, anything to do with like friendship and what I should expect, what I should do with my life. It's made me a lot more independent. I I'd say like throughout this decade, these 10 years of isolation, I'd say there was definitely a period where I was lonely. And I definitely should make like a podcast about loneliness and how I overcame loneliness, because I haven't felt lonely in years. Don't get me wrong, there are times where I'm like, God damn, like, am I just gonna like be alone forever? Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I'm sure like we all want somebody, one person, right? But sometimes I'm like, God damn, I've been dealing with everything myself. What the fuck? But yeah, like, but I wouldn't say that's loneliness. I think loneliness is definitely like a state of mind that you accept, because you don't see the value in your isolation now. There is value to isolation, but I don't believe, obviously, humans, we're not wired for it. And I don't feel like isolation is something that needs to be strived for. I think, especially now, especially after like the 2020s, we need to, like, as a community, as human beings, we need to integrate ourselves again. You know, before the phones, before anything, we need to become more integrated, because I think there's definitely a lot of separation and disconnection, and I'm not fucking with it, right? Yeah, so ties back into friendships. I feel like I've always like met people like they just want to talk about themselves, and it's just like, you're not that interesting, babe. Like, ask about me. Yeah, I just met people that just constantly like talked about themselves, and it was like it's like an ongoing thing. Like, a lot of people love to talk about themselves and they just don't stop. And I say the fuck away from people like that. If you can't recognize that someone else wants to talk as well, and that it should, people should be bouncing off each other, then I as soon as I notice someone that talks about themselves and doesn't ask about me, I get the fuck away from them. Because like I'm telling you, like, all of my friendships, quote unquote friendships in this lifetime, have been with people that constantly talk about themselves. You can tell them that they're talking about themselves. They don't give a fuck. They're gonna keep talking about themselves. And it's triggering as well, because that's all I've dealt with all my life. Even like with people that wanted to be friends with me, and it's like they'll try and force friendships on me. They're really genuinely people that are not interested in like getting to know you. So I always I blocked that connection, and we don't talk anymore. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, I like how I genuinely feel like right now. I honestly don't want to talk about the past, because it's just not my reality anymore. I'm not trying to say that in an esoteric sense, it's not everyday esotericism, right? But I'm saying that in a sense of I don't really care about the past, because I'm a completely different person, and I now want to share my camera stopped because whatever, it's fine. As I was saying, I want to move on from the past, because I genuinely do not give a fuck about my failed friendships. I want to talk about what I'm doing now in terms of friendships, and some free game that I can give to you. I know my experience that I shared in regards to my past has been very brief. I understand that, but I genuinely do have a lot of experience with friendship. I have a lot of experience, with people, pattern recognition, protecting myself from, dangerous people or people who do not wish me well. And obviously I've got, I'm only 25. I have a long way to go. I'm not some fucking life coach, okay? But some free game that I'd give to you based on the lessons that I've learned in friendship and how it ties into, breaking down and rebuilding. Honestly, stop trying to look for friends. Stop trying to look for friends. You will meet the wrong people. Humans, like I've said before, and I feel like I've said it before, but I haven't went fully into depth. Humans, no matter if they're a psychopath, no matter if they're a sociopath, no matter whatever it is, right? People are a lot more intuitive than you think, and humans are a lot smarter than you think. You may think that, wanting to have a whole bunch of friends or trying to make friends or trying your best to make friends, you think that people don't see your desperacy. That desperacy is not a word, right? You may think that people can see that you're desperate for friends, and they will definitely take that as leverage and they will have their way with you because they know that this is what you want. Okay, people can sniff it off you. I don't care if they're a fucking cluster B or whatever. It is not hard. It is not hard to sense that who is desperate, for friends and who's not. Yeah, like it's people can smell that desperacy on you. I keep saying desperacy. People can smell you being desperate, okay? And that is not a way that you want to go about friendship. And this is coming from someone, when I say this, I'm not saying it as a sense of like detachment, like, oh, like I wasn't this person. I'm saying this as somebody who used to be a people pleaser. I've went many years of my life yo-yoing from somebody who didn't give a fuck to people pleasing. But the truth is, like, even in the moments where I didn't give a fuck and I was saying what I wanted and etc., even in those moments, like, I was still always a people pleaser. I wanted approval, I wanted validation. I spent most of my life being desperate for friends, because I truly didn't understand that me being a friend to myself and me liking myself needs to take priority. I didn't understand that. I thought it was people outside of me being validated by people outside of me. But truly, the biggest flex is being friends with yourself, being comfortable in your skin. And I will get into these conversations in my Breakdown and Rebuild podcast. But you have to be a friend to yourself. There is nothing outside of you that can fulfill you. And you can say, oh, well, money can fulfill me and everything. And that's cool and everything, but I'm saying your true fulfillment comes from the relationship that you have with yourself. Because if you do not like yourself, if you do not, deal with, your feeling of unworthiness and your feeling of not being lovable and your abandonment shit, I would highly recommend you to watch my love and nourishment video, if you are dealing with like these feelings. But you have to deal with yourself. Like, you can have the friendship and you can be completely lonely. Like, there are people in fucking big ass fucking friendship groups, right, that have access to different, just have access to different networks of people, and they still feel very lonely. There are people that are married, still feel very lonely. There are people that have super big families. They still feel very lonely, very unseen, very empty, very misunderstood. So if you're thinking that something outside of you is going to be replacing the work that you have to do. And when I say work, can I just say, your life mission, babe, is not to be healing yourself. Can I just say, you are not broken. When I say these things, it's just to aid you into getting back into feeling, getting back to yourself, getting back to tending to your inner world. It never gave that you are broken or that you need healing. Your life, do not spend your life trying to improve yourself. Do not spend your life trying to heal, because you are not broken. You are perfection now. Okay? You are in touch with God. I don't care if you're religious or not. I'm not religious, okay? You are in touch and in connection with God. A drop of water, what's the saying? A drop in the ocean is still a part of the ocean, okay? A drop of water in the ocean from your fucking water bottle, we're going to use that analogy, I don't give a fuck. A drop in the ocean is still a part of the ocean. You are a part of a collective stream of infinite possibility. I don't care, like, what you think, okay? You don't have to believe me or whatever, that's fine, I don't care, okay? So you must tend to your inner world, but not in a sense of I'm broken, there's something that I have to fix. Do not ever approach your life like that, because you do not have to. Do not make your life harder than it is by just seeing, these self-help shit. I wouldn't say my channel is self-help. I'm just giving free game, you know what I'm saying? But don't be doing this whole fucking self-help thing. It's all bullshit. You are perfection now. No matter how broken you see yourself, you are perfection now. You are good enough now. There's nothing for you to heal. You are more than a healer. You are infinite potential. You are great. You are amazing. And I'm not saying to gas your head up. This is the truth. this is just a fraction of the truth of who you are. So I'm saying this as somebody, who wants you, if you choose or if you find or meet somebody, you have the game, you have the knowledge of how to approach it. You get what I'm saying? But honestly, like, you can create your own rules. You don't have to listen to me. Create your own rules, of what you want in a friendship, okay? Also, another thing that I'd say, like I said, don't look to other people to fulfill you inside. It's just never gonna work, okay? The money, whatever, that shit gets old very, very quickly, okay? Another thing that I'd say, let me have a sip of water. I'm so tired, oh my god. Let me check. Sometimes I'd be like scared that I have like crust on, my lips. Another thing that I'd say in terms of like things that I've learned in friendships that I want you to take away from this podcast, do not give yourself to people that haven't earned their position. Sometimes you need to test people, no shade. Sometimes you just need to give that bitch that you claim to be your friend for 15 years a call and tell her that you're homeless or something's happened. Tell them about a crisis moment. Do they back away? Do they leave you the fuck alone? You know what I mean? Like, how do they approach it? How are people like in a crisis moment? For me, I'm not going to say that I do that, but I think the way my approach to friendships is very subconscious. I don't realize what I'm doing in the moment, but I realize like a few days later. I'm not conjuring up like fake scenarios like all of the time. I just tend to reveal to myself who this person is without consciously realizing it. But I'm saying this to you as if you don't operate that way, because I know we have all different modes of operating, but I would say, like, if you want to be sure about someone, I'm telling you, it has everything to do with a crisis moment, or if something's gone wrong for you. How do they react? Are they happy that you fail? Do they ghost you? Do they just read your message? Like, obviously, you never know what, someone else could be going through in their life. But, like, even at my worst, I must still make sure that you're straight. 3, like I say, you have to have your own standards. You truly have to get very real with what it is that you truly want from friendship. And that is work that you have to do. And like I say in all of my podcast videos, you don't get anywhere by suppressing. You must be very honest. Some of you are looking for mothers in friendships. Some of you are looking to be coddled and have your hand held. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying you have to be very honest. No matter how embarrassing it is, you must be very honest with yourself. Otherwise, it's just going to bring like a lot of pain in your life when you are not honest with yourselves, and you're just going to keep putting yourself subconsciously in positions where you're not getting what you want. And the best way to get what you want is to just be upfront, straightforward and honest if you feel like it's worth it. A lot of the times, all of the people that I've had in my life, a lot of these conversations were not worth it because the friendship was fucking mid and it just was trash and I was not fucking with it. But that's just my opinion, right? What else would I say? A lot of these friendships that you get into are just, as much as we want to say relationships can reflect your childhood, your friendships can reflect your childhood too. I know with my female friendships that I've had, I wouldn't say that I've been friends with men. It was just mostly with women. It all represented like the lack that I received from my birth giver. You get what I'm saying? And how I broke that was just sometimes, in life, you're not going to get it until you get it. You're not going to get it till you get it. And I feel like this is where like I'd recommend you guys getting like some therapy. You know, a lot of people just think like therapy has to be for if you're going through it with your man, or you lost a job, or just over emotional shit, or you've been diagnosed with something. You can literally get therapy for everything. I used to go to therapy until I couldn't afford it. I went like for 2 weeks, and the rest of the 2 weeks I just wasn't fucking with my therapist, no shade. And I'm not trying to put you off, but get some therapy, because there are people that it's very difficult to try and encapsulate our own behaviors, you know, in friendship if we don't have like a different perspective, you know. For me, I got my perspective when I was in isolation, where I didn't have anyone talking to me or was explaining things to me. But I think a lot of you do need therapy, because sometimes you need someone to point these things out. And because there's so many things that comes up, whether it's from our childhood or whatever, we're not able to see it because this is just what's been ingrained in us, you know. But for me, like, I'm not saying I'm aware of everything, but I'll definitely say, you know, our patterns in friendship is most definitely connected to our childhood. Literally everything is connected with our childhood and the nourishment or the lack of nourishment that you received in your childhood. So please get into therapy. Or, like I said, if you're already currently in isolation, I feel like it's important for you to deconstruct the part that you've played, because we're not always a victim. In all of my friendships, I was not always a victim. I allowed a lot of shit, and that's just what it is. You know, I gave myself to people that didn't really deserve it, that didn't really earn their position. And when people see a golden opportunity with someone who is giving this wonderful, like, beautiful energy, and they know, and you know, a lot of people, so that's another lesson, a lot of people know that they don't have anything to give to you, and they're just low-key hoping that you just take them along with them, okay? So why not? Like, and if you do give them an opportunity, even though you haven't assessed them, like, why should they not, like, take this golden opportunity with you? You gotta think of it, like, in that lens. And I'd say, like, our friendship definitely connects to how worthy we feel, how good enough we feel. And I'm definitely going to make, like, a podcast episode when I'm less tired. I'm so fucking tired right now. I feel like, honestly, you know what? I know what I have to do. It's fine. Sorry. Yeah, I feel like friendships are definitely connected to our self-esteem, the way we feel about ourselves, what we tolerate, what we allow, and it all comes down to our self-esteem and if we feel worthy. And I feel like that's something genuinely to tackle. And go back to my love and nourishment video. Obviously, I have more videos that will be more in depth into, like, self-esteem and self-worth. But I think the love and nourishment video is a really good foundation for that. So yeah, like, and I'd also say be very kind to yourself. You know, it took me until 2025 to realize that pattern, you know, in regards to me giving myself to people, you know, that didn't deserve it. You know what I mean? So be very kind to yourself. Because, you know, life is the greatest teacher. You can listen to, like, these fucking words that I'm saying. You can read all of these self-help books, but life will always show you where you are at. And I'm just glad to know that I ended this fucking cycle last year, and I haven't, ever since then, I haven't felt like somebody was using me, or I felt like I was giving too much of myself, because I'm not the type of person, once I get a pattern, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, and I'm not going to make that mistake again. And even if I did make that mistake again, life is about learning and taking accountability, you know, and knowing what to do next time. And I thought, honestly, like, if I'm being so real, that pattern, that main pattern that I wasn't aware of until that 2025 has solved a lot of my friendship issues when it comes to, no shade, low quality friends. Because I do feel like there's like, obviously we all have our own standards and our own, you know, like, I don't know, we all have our own preferences and what we like and what we don't like in friendship, and there are qualities and traits that we like more than others. And I feel like, just overall, It really has, ever since I learned this lesson, ever since I started to gatekeep myself and my energy and who I am in friendships, and I learned that lesson in 2025, it really has filtered everything. Once I understood that lesson, it has completely filtered an abundance of people away from me. And you can take that as a negative thing, like, oh, you know, you're blocking all of these different types of people. No, like, I just observe how people interact with each other, and it's just when I observe them, and for me, I look in the aspect of me, and it's just like, this isn't good enough for me personally. It may be good enough for them, maybe they're tolerating it, I don't fucking know, but it's not good enough for me, and I deserve more. I can't do fucking small talk. I can't do or deal, you know, with people that just want to catch up and then just, I'm just checking in. I hate bitches that want to check in. Like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, you know? Like, a lot of things are just not good enough for me, and that has nothing to do with me thinking I'm better than people. It's just knowing who I am and what I truly want. I want utility. I want utility. Like, if I'm in a crisis moment, you are a resource in that moment. You know what I mean? But like I said, like, you know, sometimes you just have to just go through it and then it clicks. But get therapy, guys. I am avoiding therapy not because I don't think I have a problem. I'm just in a very deep phase in my life where I just don't want to talk to anyone. And I don't want to talk to anyone because honestly, I really need to process just what's happened to me. I recently, like, as of like yesterday, I watched, I don't know if you guys have been watching my episodes, but I basically have like a webcam footage of what went down and why I chose to be voluntarily homeless. And it was very triggering to me, and but I watched it, and you know, your girl was eating, like, I was eating them up, and I was eating them up respectfully. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, it was triggering, and I definitely have a lot of things to process. And yeah, I don't really want to be around people. I don't really want to be, like, friendship and connection has not been a major thing. Even though I said, like, life is about people, I don't really feel like friends and everything has been a major thing. But I feel like even though I didn't really experience much of that in this life, I feel like I'm like a closed circuit in the sense of like my self-esteem, like my power and my self-esteem, and me knowing that I'm worthy and good enough, and me knowing that all of these things come through me. It really has protected me. It really has made me feel like, you know, I am good enough. Even though sometimes, all of the time, I feel like I'm unseen, and sometimes I feel like it's for the best. But as long as I don't collude this feeling of feeling invincible, because I have been invincible all of my life, as long as I don't collude that feeling with my own personal success and what I can achieve, it's fine. Because at the end of the day, even if I feel invincible, even if I don't feel seen, you know, by the people in my vicinity, at my uni, or whatever, you're still going to win. You're still going to be successful. You'll still be good enough. No matter what. Not even about your size or anything. You're still going to be worthy. You're still going to get what you want. You know? You're still going to create the generational wealth that you want. I'm really tired, guys. Like, fuck me. And my skin is, like, super dehydrated. I need to get some products that will really hydrate my skin, because I've been noticing, like, skin changes around here. And I know that it's due to, like, dehydration. Not because I'm not drinking enough water, but because, you know, yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much the podcast, guys. Is there anything else I want to share? In friendship, the last thing I want to share, move like a turtle. Be very, very slow. Take your time. There will be people in this life that will rush you. that will attempt to love bomb you, confuse you, force you, move like a turtle and trust your instincts, trust your intuition. If it doesn't feel right, it's off. It's off, it's wrong, period. Trust your intuition. Your intuition is a form of God speaking to you. Move like a turtle. When they're trying to like force friendship and call you, oh, this is my bestie, this is my sister, this is my boy, like this is my homeboy, like this is my day one, and you've just met them on the first day, move slow. And that applies to different types of relationships, bro. Not only friendship, but different types of relationships, for sure, you know. And be proud of yourself. Be very proud of yourself. You've come a very long way. Be very kind to yourself, gentle to yourself, because sometimes, like I said, sometimes life is the greatest teacher. Sometimes, you know, like when we experience these perceived failures in connection, in friendship, in whatever it is, it really is of benefit to you, because when it comes to failure, when it comes to things that may seem like it's not working out for you, or you know what I mean, like we just perceive it as something's wrong. Failure, pain, suffering, and I'm not trying to idealize that, because obviously, you know, I'm all about creating, like, not even creating, but just using esoteric knowledge, using the occult to put myself in position. Don't ever get it twisted. But do not deem your failures or your struggles or whatever it is as failures, because all of my suffering, all of my trauma, all of just everything has given me more wisdom, has allowed me to move smarter, allowed me to be more street smart, and has put me in a position where I'm also book smart. You know what I mean? Has given me intelligence, and, you know, all the upheavals in my life and in your life has given you wisdom if you have been able to extract anything from that. So do not perceive, you know, especially when it comes to these failed relationships, you're in and out of relationships, you know, and I'm not saying, like, you know, people that serial date, I'm kind of scared of you people. Like, do you people not know how to take a break? No shade, but like, don't perceive your failed relationships as failures. Extract what you can from all of your perceived failures, and know that it is wisdom when you do that. As much as I can feel slightly frustrated when thinking about my lack of connection, my lack of friendships, I've gained so much wisdom, and I have a long way to go. I'm a baby, like, I'm 25. You know, I'm not seasoned yet, you get what I'm saying? But I'm very thankful for everything that I've been taught, and I'm still learning. I just kind of like feel like I'm an old soul. I feel like I've just lived, like, sometimes I'll just be feeling like I'm 67. 6'7". Sometimes I'll just be feeling like, I don't know, I feel like I've always been told when I was younger, I just feel like sometimes I'm like wiser beyond my years, because I've had to mature and grow quickly when I was younger, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's so important. Don't take your failures in friendship, relationships as failures. Take every single upheaval, crisis moment, failure as a lesson, and extract the knowledge and wisdom and what you've taken from it. Okay? Because I have, and I still am, and I'm so grateful for everything that I know now, because it really has been a protection for me. You know? Nobody can come up in my face trying to like social engineer me. It's not gonna run, bro. No shade. I'm gonna end off this episode as this. and I hope you enjoyed. I hope this has been of value to you. And I'm just gonna go rest. I'm really, really tired. So take care, guys. Bye.